Guys, we're live. Welcome. I'm back with Ogi or Mr. Miyagi. And we are talking about last week. We talked about what did we talk about last time?
We talked about two shows. One was Giant Robo and also Get a Robo.
Yeah.
And the different variants that was released in English.
And this week we're talking about underrated mecha series that are not Gundam, that are not Evangelion, that's not Razafon, that's not anything that you could easily just be like, oh, I like mecha, or I don't know mecha, but I know blank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why don't you go first with
all the guidelines?
Yeah.
So back in the way days of 7th grade, G4 Tech TV soon turned into G4 TV, and they had their anime lineup, which was announced by Leo Laporte, the tech guy, of Anime Unleashed.
What isn't Leo from Screensavers?
Yes, also Screensavers. Okay. And from there, we have a classic lineup of what was supposed to be in theme of the latest and greatest technology anime, even though some kind of slipped up, like Colorful, the panty upskirt show.
Yeah.
But from that, there's three that comes to mind when you think about that lineup. There's Silent Mobius. It's not Mecha, but it's really good. Then you have, let's start with this one. Part of the Tenchi series, Parallel Dual Adventures. Trouble Adventures.
Are those DVDs?
Those are DVDs. Has not yet been released on
Blu-ray.
The Blu-ray market. I like this one because of how hilarious it is, as well as what trouble they can get in with their mechs, as this one guy is teleported into this new futuristic world and has to save it for the hope of mankind.
So do you remember this one? I do not. But so it's technically an isekai.
Technically. I never liked the word. I know people use it, and it's a mainstay now, but I never liked the word isekai. It's like saying ew, icky.
Well, yeah, because I mean, most isekais are ew, icky. Especially today. It's like the new thing, it's like the new fad. Everyone's cranking out. So if you were to give that show a scale of 10, what would you rank Duel?
I would give it an 8. And also you can see, and you can also see a cameo of Duel, or at least a mecha from it in the Tenchi sequel, War of Geminar.
Okay. And then my first pick, I don't have the cases like just like Ogi does, because I didn't want to like pull stuff from the bottom of my shelf. I didn't want to like rearrange a bunch of stuff. So my first pick is Zigga-Pain, which is one of the rare shows that I would give a 10 out of 10.
A very early 2000s dub, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yes. Watch it with subtitles, obviously. But it's people compare it to The Matrix, and I can kind of see that it gives me a very similar vibe, not like story wise or story beats, but it's a show that I had never heard of until recently, and I watched a couple episodes online and was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go pick the show up because I'm loving what I see. Impossible to find, like damn near impossible to find. Finally, shout out to Otaku Joe. He was selling the box set with the box and everything, $200 below market price, like below what they were, scalpers were asking, because it is rare. I think it was ADV, right?
It was Bandai Entertainment, and you can see it like right there in the background.
Yeah, and mine's right above my big head, right there next to Astroboy. Just a show that it's done by Sunrise, and during that time period, Sunrise I think just had a lot of money because Gundam Seed is still the best-selling anime of the 2000 to 2010. Like it was, Gundam Seed made a lot of money, and Gundam Seed's a good show, but I think they just had a lot of money, and they were trying so many different things and making so many cool, unique mecha shows. And that's the one that really sticks out to me. Like when I think of early mecha shows, that's what I think of. Like early 2000 mecha shows. It's one that is underrated. Not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people talk about it. But the people that do talk about it love it. Now,
I like it
10
too.
out of 10 for me.
Cool. More on Zigga-Pain for me. To me, it's more not across. I can see the Matrix element, but for me, it's kind of a cross between Razafan and Bokurano.
Bokurano is the next one I want to be. I was going to be talking about. So
I'll let you splurge on that. I got another series.
Okay, go ahead.
I have it. It's still back in the Anime Unleashed lineup, but I haven't. I need to really sit down and rewatch it. And it is called. Well, it was English dubbed as
Technoman.
Yeah, which is obviously TV censored, but luckily the same company that released this, Media Blasters, gave us a really slick. I got this version of Technoman Blade. So
that's what I have. I have the first two, though. Like they did that thing. They did that release style with Go Lion as well. Yes, where it's like sideways and it folds up and it's really cool. Well, volume 3 of that is so hard to find. So I found a used library copy of volume 3 and normal black case, but it is in great shape. So awesome. It did. I don't know who released this before Discotheque, but I also have Technoman Blade 2. From what I remember with it, it was it was a space action drama, a lot of explosions, very 90s stylish with a slick car shine to it. I would recommend the watch, but I won't give it a rating because it's been 8th grade ago, and this is a longer series, so I really need to rewatch it to give it a better appraisal, if you will. It is a Tatsunoko show. Yeah, which talking about Ogi, when I got in my crash, sent me so many fucking animes, dude. And one of them was Infinity Force, which has that character in it. Tatsunoko's productions are just some of my favorite characters. He's in it. I want to say he's in it, but it's like a different version. Like it's the original Technoman, but not Technoman Blade. They have like different powers, I think. Which, by the way, that show for a 3D show is actually pretty good. Oh yeah, I actually really like that show. Good. Something to help the muscles return to normal, right? So chicken noodle soup to watch, right? So what would you rate Technoman Blade? Technoman Blade. I'll never give a show a 10. I'll never give a show a 1, just as a disclaimer. Okay. I would put this up there as a 9 because what I remember was the fast action, quick drama. It doesn't linger on the drama, but it hooks you in for more. Mm-hmm. And the intense fight. You will never rate a show a 10? No, there's always something greater out there. And it's fun to go find it too. Okay, so what's a show that you would, let's say you're done watching anime. Let's say anime is done forever. No more anime is coming out. If you had to pick, like, let's say coronavirus wipes out everybody and you're the last guy alive. You have all this anime. What's the one show that you would give a 10? I would give a 10. Ooh. One show to give a 10. It wouldn't be Mecha, sadly. You motherfucker. Well, hold on. There would be 2. I would give a 10 to this one, which I had to, when it first aired on Adult Swim. You probably know what I'm talking about now. They didn't air it on the same hour each weekend. They kept like shuffling where it's going to be the whole time. So when I watched it, I didn't get a grasp of what's going on, and I really missed how they used to do with Gundam Wing, like the previously on Gundam Wing. This happened. Are you talking about C-Lab 2021? Oh, that's a good show, but that's not it. I'm talking about Code Geass. Oh, okay. Really? I really liked how the writing style is really good. If you pay attention to the Orange Boy character, throughout at least R1 and R2, I feel like that they wrote him very well.
because you don't know what's happening to him. You see stuff going on in the background. Stuff intensifies. Then in season 2, when it reveals him again, oh my God. And there's other elements too that I like.
Have you watched the movies?
I have not watched the movies. I haven't watched Akito Exiled and the new trilogy. However, I have the trilogy movies, but not Exiled yet.
I watched the first 4 movies, or the 4 movies, though. Was it the quad trilogy?
Yeah.
And I think I prefer experiencing that story that way. Like
Cool.
condensed down. Because Code Geass is a fucking great show. And I remember watching it. When did that air? That aired alongside something else.
Eureka 7.
Okay, yeah. And I remember just being like, man, this show is so good. I used to watch it weekly. I've seen it all twice. And then I sat down and watched the movies in like a 2-day period. And I was like, I actually really like that story condensed down into 4 films.
Bandai's usually good about their compilation films. Yes, experiencing it with Gundam, with their original trilogy movies and so on.
I guess my next pick will just be Bokurano. It's a Discotheque title. Shout out to all the Discotheque homies. Now I experienced Bokurano. I don't know if you've read the manga. Have you read the manga?
I have not read the manga, but I know that there's differences.
I read the manga, and the reason I went through a phase where I was only collecting out of print books, and volume 3 of Bokurano is like damn near impossible to find. So I found a whole set, bought it, and ended up falling in love with it. It gave me, Evangelion vibes, a lot of similarities, the deep psychological stuff. But the thing I like about the anime is, one, I think the animation's pretty solid. The Discotheque release is good, which I didn't know this. Did you know the owner of Discotheque made the DVDs himself back in the day?
Really?
Yeah. Justin didn't come on until the Blu-rays. So
wow.
Yeah, so it was like all like
Celty, right?
Yeah, Selby.
Selby.
So it's all in-house, which is wild to me. But yeah, so Bokurano is a story about these kids are in a cave, they're playing around, and they find like a computer system. There's a guy who's like, the end of the world's coming, and I think is it 12 kids? Because I want to say
the 12 or 9.
The manga's 11 or 12 volumes, and I feel like for a while every volume focused on a kid. But all these kids, once you use the mech, you die, like you're sacrificed.
Once you kill someone with the mech, you die.
Yeah, and it's it gives you the background of these kids. One of them, this girl's mom, was a prostitute, and she's young and prostitutes herself out. A lot of really dark subject matter, which is actually handled decently well. And it was made during that time period where they had to throw a cute fucking mascot. You know what I mean? Like that alien creature. That every anime I feel like did that for a while. But yeah, overall, I highly recommend it. If I had to rate it, I would give it probably a 7.5, 8. It's a good series, and I love the mech design because it's very lengthy. Like it's a weird shape. It reminds me of at least in the manga, a lot of the shots of the robot. It's very like Cloverfield-esque. You don't get like a direct shot of it. You're always getting like up shots, or it's done very well.
To me, for the mech designs, I felt like they were more insect inspired, with how narrow the limbs that they would have to use would be.
Yeah, like they're like super long arms and they're super thin. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird.
2 stories I liked from that one was the one that kind of broke the mold was the fat kid. Somehow out of nowhere, he was like super athletic, and he causes a plot twist on how he was able to defeat the first few, and then eventually he has to come to it and die.
He had what do you call it? He had 2 sisters, right? He was taking care of a couple. Yeah. He was taking care of his siblings. That one in the manga when he dies really fucked me up. It's like his whole family. Spoiler, but his whole family was like, like messed up. His siblings were messed up. It's just that's a good. God, that's so fucking good, dude.
The other one that got me to feel a little bit was the tomboy.
Who's the tomboy?
In the anime, she kept getting spanked by her dad.
Yeah, okay.
And her dad would like come home and watch the mecha shows.
Mm-hmm.
She was adopted, but what got me was like she loved her family. She didn't want to die, but she would do it just to make sure that they're okay. That one was kind of more touching to me.
Who's your Ryu? By the way, we are seeing the chat, guys. Ryu said the ending of the Bokurano manga is insane. It's been a while since I've watched and read either of them, but I remember having a very similar gut reaction to both. Can you see the chat?
I can see the chat. I'm reading, catching up. I have not seen Van Dread or Gunnex Sword, but I'm not sure if those are considered.
Dude, you have it. Gunnex Sword has
them.
It's got mechs in it.
Okay. Kind of like how Trigun is, or
it's very Trigun-esque, and then it has a mech in it.
Okay.
That's a good show. You haven't seen that?
I've seen Blue Gender.
Blue Gender is good as well. So what is your next pick?
My next pick. I can't choose this next pick. I was going to go with Big O, but I'm not going to do that. Next pick is Daimidaler Prince versus the Penguin Empire.
I don't think I have that.
Really? This one I enjoyed. It is very Mazinger inspired.
Okay.
But it focuses on relationships, and as the Penguin Empire tries to infest and get more members, all they really want to do is just go home.
Is there penguins in there?
Yes, actually. Zoom it up close. Right over here, these are penguins.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Would you mind looking up the penguin dude from this show and share it with people?
Share it with them? What's his name?
What's
the show called?
Type the show in.
Daimidaler.
Daller. Daimidaler.
Penguin. Daimidaler penguin. All right. Oh. They're not like normal penguins.
No, they're humanoid penguins with front tails.
What, like penises?
It's not. No. They explicitly said it's not penises.
Oh, really? Because this is
what is a tail.
What is that?
That is their tail.
That
not
is
a genital, but a tail.
That's a penis, my man.
I want to say penis as well, but the show says it is a tail.
You can call
However, they use a lot of innuendo, and one of the girls,
the gray bulging between our legs,
like Blondie, right over. I can never get this right. Yeah, right over. Yeah, you see where my finger's trying to get to.
Wow, this show is very sexual, dude.
It is very sexual. The first two couples are. Yeah, sorry. The first couple is like the student council president. She is trying to tame the rebel, and the whole time the two have like this romance situation, which the romance situation powers their Daimidaler. However, something happens and the main character goes away. Then couple number two has their more powerful Daimidaler and continue to fight the Penguin Empire.
I just saw penguin erections. I think I'm. What would you rate? So, what would you rate that show?
I would rate this one a 7 out of 10.
Ryu says Daimidaler feels like a love letter to 70s super robots and raunchy Go Nagai stuff.
Oh, yes. Huh. Hilarious, fast pace. I enjoyed it.
And penguin penises.
Yeah. Well, there's no head, so shafts. I got you there.
Oh, man. My next pick is going to be, I'm kind of cheating here. because I think the anime isn't that good, but I think the manga and the franchise as a whole is one of the most creative lore and world building things ever. Can you guess what I'm going to say? There's it was made into one movie by I think Madhouse. It came out I think in 1988. I could be wrong on the date, but I think it's 88. And it features a character. The main character is very feminine looking.
Do the mechs move like the tall geese by chance?
Kind of.
So if that, it has to be the 5-star stories.
You are correct. It is the 5-star stories. Animation wise, 5-star stories is incredible. Like they did a great job. The budget was very high, but the story for that movie, it just kind of throws you in, and there's a lot of great lore that's in the universe. So I have all the Japanese volumes, all 15, because I read them online. I read scans, and I wanted to support the mangaka, so I bought this series. Did you know that this series is so big in Japan? When volume 15 came out, it charted the top 10 most sold volumes of that year. And we're talking like it was on the chart with One Piece and Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. It was on the list. It was like number 8 or 9, but it cracked the top 10. People love 5-star stories. So here's the thing. This mangaka did some design work on Zeta Gundam. Cool. He did the Cubely, that really weird looking. Yeah. So so he made that mech. He made another one too. I can't think of the exact name of the other one.
Probably the O with that.
I think I'm trying to think of what he made. He made two big mechs for that series. But his style is so weird and so all over the place. Like if you look at the Cubely, it doesn't look like anything that's in Gundam at all. It doesn't look like anything else. Right. So his mech designs are really unique. So he did the 5-star stories, and then they made the movie, and then he worked on a movie a couple years ago called Gothic Maid. Have you heard of this?
I'm not familiar with it.
So Gothic Maid was a movie with his style that only was played in theaters. It's never gotten a home release in Japan or anywhere, and he says it will never get a home release. There's no torrents of it. Nothing. It was literally a movie theater only movie. They played every once in a while, but after that movie came out, he then rebooted the entire lore and franchise for 5-star stories and changed it into the world of Gothic Maid. So a lot of these fans were comparing it to like Dune. Have you ever read Dune?
I have a lot of friends who talk about Dune who've read it. I can't read it.
Yeah, it's pretty dense. I like it, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just Japanese Dune." There's a lot of lore, a lot of high science fiction ideas in there, and then he completely scrapped all of it.
Oh man,
yeah. So 15 volumes in. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of art books for 5-star stories that I would love to get. There's model figures that I would love to get. But it's such a weird, unique world that a lot of people who've seen the movie, it's not a good representation of the franchise. But it's still decent to watch. And Ryu says, which will finish first, 5-star stories or Gaiver? Probably Gaiver.
I kind of want Gaiver to continue.
The Gaiver manga in Japan's been going on since.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going.
Did it take a hiatus like Go-Go had to?
I'm sure. Well, Go-Go took its first hiatus ever.
Right.
Because of COVID. Which is wild, dude. That dude's been cranking out that manga for that many years.
All based on 007.
That's so fucking wild to me. I mean, I hope he has assistants so he can enjoy some of that fucking money. Because he's got to be rolling in the dough.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least he can continue. Sadly, the creator of Fist of the North Star died last week or two.
I thought it was
recently.
Year. Wait, what? Bjornsson? Or the artist? Or the writer?
Let me get back to you. I need to refresh on that.
Whoa. I feel like that would have been big news.
Someone in the production died. Let me get back to you.
For the show? For
The manga.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your next pick?
I have seen 5-star stories. For me, I would give it a 7 as well.
I'd give it
Out of 10.
I'd give it like a 6. Manga wise.
Okay.
Manga no, sorry. Anime wise 6.
Movie.
Manga wise 8, 9. It's really
Okay.
good. It's really good.
I was scared there. I thought he was going to give it a 4.
No. Well, I could have.
All right. So up next, one I liked, and I feel the Escaflowne, the movie vibes from it, at least from the mech designs, and it is Knights and Magic.
Which I just got. Where is it at? I have it somewhere in this pile.
For some reason, I keep getting vibes of 50-50. There's people who think it's mediocre. There's people who think it's great.
Well, I literally had that in my chat earlier. Someone said, I love Knights and Magic, and someone else was like, it fucking sucks. So it's like...
Well, what I like about it is you have this person who dies and gets reincarnated in this Knights and Magic war, like a Knights and Sorcery world with Mecha in it. While growing up, luckily as a noble, he was always enthused about Mecha because he did a lot of Gunpla when he was alive in his previous life. So the whole time you see him ooh and ah over the local mechs, and he wanted to tinker with it. When he finally became of age to tinker with it, he was able to do all sorts of things like I don't want to say a savant, prodigy in order to modify the mechs to do more than what they did before, and while just being so ginky and infused, excited to continue to build and manipulate these robots. And soon a war happens, and he comes across another person in the same situation. I'm saying more Escaflowne the movie, because if you remember in that one, they had a lot. Instead of like nuts, bolts, repair the plate, it was like a metal casing, and it's like
some really good mech designs there.
Oh yeah.
Also, was this show big? Because
I don't know
if you've seen the Blu-ray, but all of this, the character, everything is all embossed. You can touch it and feel it, and it's like holographic too. I don't know if it's showing up. They put a lot of production value into this release.
Oh yeah.
If you had to rate the show,
I would give it a 9.
Whoa, really?
An upper. Yes, it's a very good show. The pace is fast. It's easy to catch on what the situation is. There's some tactics that you can poke fun at, but it's easy to understand what's going on situational wise. The sheer imagination of the show is what you're there to watch for. So if you're depressed, go watch this.
Well, I'm gonna have to check it out. It's on my backlog, and my next pick goes kind of hand in hand with Knights and Magic. Can you guess what I'm gonna say? It's nope.
No.
It's,
okay.
I think it's either a 6 or it's an 8-part OVA.
Oh, Broken Blade.
Broken Blade. Yes, I just started rewatching it today. Actually, I'm halfway through episode 1. That show is really good. That's a good fucking show. And what I like is that a lot of fantasy mecha shows, it's either like, lasers. They still have lasers. They have swords. This show, the mechs are literally just firing
across from each other. They are in a desert like war. I've watched this as well. It had 2 variations. Hopefully he can come back. Oh, you're back?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 variations is there's the movies, then there's a compilation TV series, which is the movies again, just with some little extra scenes.
So what did Sentai release? Was that the mains?
I believe those are the movies.
Because those are like, it's a big deal in Japan. I didn't realize how big Broken Blade was. It was And it was what production IG, and it was a collaboration between IG and someone else.
I don't know if I can find that.
But yeah, Broken Blade is pretty good. I'm rewatching it because I wanted to. I'm right now. I'm doing a Gundam Universal Century Timeline watch through, and I wanted to take a break because that's a lot of Gundam to get through.
Right.
And yeah, Broken Blade's been scratching that itch. It's good.
Oh yeah, if you want a more tactical series, that would be one.
It's good. To go with. In the what did I rate it? The first watch through, I would probably say an 8. Right now, I'm watching the dub this time, and it's really bad. So
okay,
I'm gonna stick with probably. Might stick with the dub, but it's pretty fucking awful. So about a 7.5, 8.
When I watched it, I enjoyed the tactics. I enjoyed the characters. The pace was a little slow.
The first episode pretty solid.
Okay.
So what's up next for you?
I'll get a 7. So, what are we defining Mecha as before we continue? Are we considered Android-esque like?
It depends. How big is the android?
Human size.
I think it has to be a giant robot.
Giant robot.
Because what? So what? All right. Well, what would be an android that you would recommend?
Well, I was thinking of 3. One of them would have been Steel Angel Kurumi. The other one would be Cyborg 009, but I think that doesn't fit the criteria. However, there is another that might fit it. What do you say about Bubblegum Crisis?
Those are mechs, yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
And that's a classic.
Oh yeah, I would go with the classic Bubblegum Crisis.
That's a good show.
You have this different type of mech genre here. I want to say, are they police or are they detectives?
They're police.
They're police. So you have this police show with some of them having their own rock band, like one of the characters, Pris, has a rock band. And as they fight the evil boomers.
And there's and if you watch it with what boomers mean to us nowadays, there's a lot of good jokes that just happen. Yeah. It's so good.
The action is there. If you've watched Appleseed, this would be like I'm debating on this. I want to say it better, but I'm always back and forth between that. Pretty much, you have your girl power team fighting the forces of evil-esque alien robots, even though they're not alien, but a superpower that's not normally seen.
Now, did this show ever come to Toonami or anything?
It did not. It did not come to Toonami. Most people would either know of it by word of mouth or Blockbuster Video,
and from Animigo, who put out they did a Kickstarter, which thank God they did, because that show is, I think it's like mandatory collecting. Like I think you need it in your collection.
Oh yeah, I bet right now you're probably running the Hurricane theme song that Pris sings in one of the episodes.
Is there a vinyl soundtrack of that?
More likely, they made vinyl of everything.
Because that soundtrack is incredible.
Oh yeah,
that's a show I would give like a 9.5, 10.
Yeah, I would give it a 9 as well.
But no 10 though, right?
No 10.
Okay. So next for me is a show that aired, I want to say last winter, I think is when it aired. Belum.
Ah, okay.
I watch every Mecha show, except for Listeners this season. I dropped it. Thought it was awful. But Belum is a show that I normally don't like. It's a magical girl show / slice of life. But there's this battle royale happening in another plane of existence called Belum, and it's where these magical girls who come from lines of mages get into these mechs, and they pretty much can do anything with them. Create any weapon, do anything with, because it's magic. And I think that's how they get around some of like the major ass pulls that happened in Grand Belum. Sadly, it has not had an official release yet. I'm actually super surprised it didn't get like picked up by Sentai. I'm sure it's going to get picked up by like Funimation or Sentai or somebody, because it's like it's a short show, 13 episodes.
I thought Funimation got it.
No, it's not out.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Apparently it has a Russian dub, which is weird. So apparently it was like decently big in Russia. I really like it. The main character, is the tip. There's some tropey stuff like the main character doesn't have. She's not from a line of mages. How can she control these characters? What are they called? They're called Armoroxes, I think is what the mechs are called. The main one is White Lily. Good action, short. Not too much of a time commitment, because a lot of mecha shows are 50 episodes,
right?
And that's a lot to ask. So, but yeah, I'd give it like a solid 8. It's good.
Okay. So here's a hint for you, Flip. Next one I'm thinking of is a mecha version of Utena. Your second hit is one of the most fabulous.
Nadesco?
Nope, not Nadesco.
Mecha version of Utena.
Yeah. Or a concept from Utena. Very flashy. Stay late. Double Oops. It came out. You have it.
I have it.
Yeah.
Majestic Prince.
Nope. Close. Very close.
Ooh. The Price of Smiles.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Isn't news from Funimation streaming it from Aniplex?
Wait, I have it. It's from Aniplex.
Yeah. Aniplex Studios made it, but they didn't license it originally from the US. Very flashy.
I don't know.
Star Driver.
Okay, yeah, okay. I can kind of see the Utena.
At least it's a console element.
Okay.
So for that one, when I watched it, that's normally I like to watch it when everything's complete and just go through and binge. This one I could actually watch it week per week and be fine. High animation, very to the plot line. The pace was pretty good. I forgot who they were fighting against. No, I do remember. It's one boy versus the whole school. So you have kind of like that Utena kill
Hey,
type of
Ogie, will you refresh your stream, because you're cutting in and out? Just
and most of the things I remember from that show was Flash Explode. Well, it was Explode. It was more like a flash again. So I would give this one. Give it about a 7. What do you say, Flip?
I'd give it about 7 or 8. But Ogie, can you refresh your stream, buddy?
Oh yeah. Just hit refresh.
Just hit refresh, because it seems like you're cutting it out.
Okay, sorry.
Oh. Whoa. That's weird. Huh. Well, it looks like it's still kind of choppy for me. Am I smooth for you?
You're like a line, one line on across, but not.
See, because you're cutting in and out so bad that I can't understand you. You sound like a robot.
Darn it. I've heard that. I've heard that. How do I sound now?
You sound okay. You still sound like a robot a little bit, but I can understand you. That's the important part.
I guess it's the Mecha thing.
Let's go ahead and do one more since we're both having technical issues, and then kind of wrap up the episode.
Okay.
So, Star Driver, Studio Bones, great anime. I'd give it like an 8, 7 or 8. It's a good show.
Okay.
Now, what is it? My turn now.
Yes.
Now, I want to talk about a show that I recently just posted about on Instagram. It's a very important mecha show for the country of the Philippines. It started a revolution. It got banned by the government from airing. Oh, and Ogi is now gone. Ogi is gone. Huh. Ogi? Hello? I can see you, but I can't hear you. But I can see you choppy. You're very choppy. There we go. I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. So
I can hear you.
So the show I was talking about was Voltus 5. It's the second installment of the Robot Romance trilogy. And it is the first one that we got here from Discotheque. They obviously are releasing the other ones. They announced Combattler V not that long ago. It's a good show. Started a revolution in the Philippines. It's for the time it came out. Giant robots, transforming, combining robots. It actually had a really deep political story about two factions. One of the factions is aliens. It's about not judging people by what they look like, about who they are as a person, and it did a lot of things. It broke a lot of the mold from 70s robot shows, because a lot of those shows are very monster of the week type of shows. This one had a through line, a story from beginning to end with good character development and pretty decent animation. So I think it's a very important anime that people need to check out, and I would give it about a 7. So what about you, Mr. Ogi? What is your last pick?
My last pick. Pick of the last. What can I pick? Mecha show. Wait a minute. Condiments are usually ketchup, mustard, and for those sick people, relish. I see you have some mustard and relish right up there next to your Astroboy. If you look at your box sets. GaoGaiGar. Part of the Brave series. I think it's part of the 4th or 5th. Please correct me on that.
I think it's the 4th, and it's the only one that we got here.
Right. Which, sadly, so you have GaoGaiGar, then you have Better Man. Later on, they had a cross episode that didn't make it over here. But for GaoGaiGar, I love the creativity. Like for the mechs, it would be like a train, 2 types of trains, a plane, and the attacks would be like a screwdriver, a hammer.
Yep.
Then later on, you have like a faction of good and bad guys, and when season 2 happens, some of the bad guys become good guys with their own creative names like Pizza.
Yeah,
I love the childish aspect of the show. It is formulaic, and some scenes kind of remind me of like Gamera. With Gamera, they have like 2 fairies to summon Gamera to solve the day. In this case, there's a boy who's an alien boy who's connected to the Insert something here, I forgot. that can sense the trouble and can call upon GaoGaiGar, or at least alert. I forgot if it was to power GaoGaiGar or knows that the enemy is coming and alerts them. But if you watch the dub, you get a good dose of Dan Green. So, what do you have to say about GaoGaiGar?
It's a show that I think Ryu actually, me and him, Ryu in the chat there, told me about. I love it, dude. It is everything that I love about giant robots. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that there was a release. It's expensive as fuck for that release, though. Yeah, both box sets are insane. Especially the yellow one is the, I think that's the most expensive one. The writing is good.
It's the yellow one that has to be the second season.
Yeah, the second season is the most expensive. It's funny. The writing is good. The fucking, like you said, it gets kind of serious in the second half, but like still maintaining goofiness. It's so
kind of like Astroboy 2003. At the beginning, it felt like it was a show for babies, but when the second half happens, it decides to drop its balls and gets very serious and intense, especially with the Blue Knight. But that's Astroboy. We're talking about GaoGaiGar now.
Yep, and I think GaoGaiGar is in my top 10 favorite mecha shows of all time. It's probably top 5, honestly, dude. It's so
cool.
Good.
I noticed for a while, every time Nozumi talks about Gundam, there's always someone in the chat asking for the Brave series.
Dude, I would love more Brave, but from what I understand, some of the Brave series hasn't even gotten a Blu-ray in Japan. I think some of the masters are just lost.
Oh God, no! We shouldn't be entering that. This is a '90s mech.
Dude, you would be surprised, from talking with people in the industry, the amount of times that they've had to. I mean, look at Cyborg 009. That's a 2000 show, and the amount of work that Justin had to do to even preserve that, and even Japan, their Blu-ray is using his masters. Because, yeah, it was. For those of you who don't know, they got the rights, and when they sent in the tapes, they were literally like broken. So they had to use every region's tapes and splice together episodes using different regions tapes. It was just a huge pain in the ass, like a 2-year process of nonstop work. I feel like that's why I love Discotheque so much, because I feel like other studios would just be like, fuck it, we're just not going to.
They listen.
You know what I mean?
Quality.
Their quality of their. Let's actually talk about our love for Discotheque for a second. Quality wise, they're the only one who is consistent. So this is how much they want to give their fans a good product. There was a slight audio issue that happened twice in their City Hunter privatized Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled every copy. You can't buy that anymore because they're going to fix the problem and re-put it out with the audio issue fixed. And it's like something that most people wouldn't even notice.
No, used to. This is typically generally when you're mass producing something like this, you're going to run into stuff as said before, like with the Samurai Pizza Cat's Japanese version. They sent out a replacement disc.
Wow. Okay. So
I at that one time.
Another thing about them is that they're very like community focused. You don't see Sentai do it. You don't see Funimation do it. They're very much like they get the community involved, like especially when they have like a big license like Giant Robo, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys have any extras that we can throw in, to the thing?" Especially when they were like, "Hey, we can't find the masters for this. Does anybody have a lead?" Or,
Let's see. Then there was also they were part of the restoration committee for Robot Carnival, so they had more freedom to look for stuff, but they asked the community for like merchandise, past promotional stuff, flyers. I'm not sure how they went about the interviews, but when they released the Blu-ray of it, it was chocked to the brim with just extras galore to just click through.
Now,
Blue Suit, yeah.
Who do you think is the worst at Blu-rays?
Well, kind of a cheap shot because I think they fixed it, but for a while I would say Viz because of all the ghosting issues that they had with Sailor Moon. I would have said Mill Creek with their release of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, but I think they've solved their issue with Blu-ray going with Ultraman now.
They've done a great job.
I think they've bandaged the past on that one.
I think the worst is probably made in Japan. Their Armor Trooper Votoms releases are fucking awful, and they're re-putting it out in a single package. But I don't think they're going to do anything for fans who bought. Like, I bought all of them. It's like, I'm
not going to lie, I'm probably going to buy it again because I like the cover art for it.
I mean, also I might buy it again and just give away the other ones. But it's such bullshit because one, it's $60. It's fairly priced. Like, that's a good price for all the content that's included. I think I paid $100 almost for the first box set. Like, there should be a program where you can mail them the 3 releases and they mail you a new one. I think that would be fair because apparently they're going to reauthor it and do all this extra stuff. It just sucks that early adopters are getting fucked.
Yeah. I think it would be like, if you look at the MSRP, assuming the normal price range for the first 2, the first one was the full TV series. Then the later 2 was the extra movies and OVAs, correct?
And we're missing one OVA. And Ryu, I know you're pretty on top of this stuff. If the Ultimate Edition, does it include the one thing we were missing? Because we were like, we're missing one OVA. They're calling it the complete collection. So is this everything now? Also, if they're doing it like that, that's also super shitty. You know what I mean? Because they had an OVA, they had one TV show collection, and then the 2 OVAs, the 2 OVA box sets. So, and also like this, their SD on Blu-ray stuff is just awful. I mean, I'm glad that we have Ideon and Dunbine and Zabungle, but the release quality is not that good. And it's just
they're probably just rushing the product instead of like taking the quality into consideration. Or also, spending more time with the quality lab.
Also, with Sentai and Made in Japan, because they're basically the same company, do you feel like their products are like just kind of like cheap? Because they have sales all the time. It's like when a new Sentai thing gets announced, it's like, oh, I might not buy it right away, but yo, we got Cody No Teeth in the chat. What's going on, brother? Cody and I did a stream last night.
Why is his teeth missing?
Dude, he's a punk, man. The most punk hardcore dudes always have teeth missing.
Skate punk or the
like crust. He's really into crust punk. Cody's fucking awesome. He is seriously one of the coolest dudes I've talked to in a really long time. I loved our we were supposed to talk about Ultraman, and we ended up like an hour and a half talking about everything else but Ultraman.
Oh no!
It's like the first time that I did the podcast with you guys. I was like, I'm like interested in you guys. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
When's the next episode of your guys' show coming out?
Hopefully Thursday. When he says you guys, he means the Open Chest Anime Podcast on the Anime Collector channel.
Yep. So you guys do it like what, once a week?
Depending on AC's schedule, since he's bogged down with everything.
Your guys' fucking episodes are it's a workout to do, dude. I was like, holy crap, this is like a 3-4 hour podcast.
Oh, we've done 8 before. We've done 8.5 before as well.
8 hours?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Ask AC. AC wants the runtime, apparently. Ask him.
Holy shit.
But we are troopers.
One night I was watching you guys at work, and it was like I started and finished cleanup, which usually takes me 2 to 3 hours, and you guys were still going. I was like, holy shit. I was like, wow. All right, man. Good for you guys. You guys are killing it. But yeah, I think Discotheque puts out the highest quality release. Funimation.
They're okay. Going back to your Sentai question, I think they did that originally, aside from stock, but because they had that huge flood in Houston years ago, like that one flood that happened since Houston's like 80 miles below sea level.
Well, I remember when Ideon got released, it was like what, $80 or $100 or something like that.
80, 60, depends on if you get the pre-order.
It was expensive, and I remember being like, "Oh, I'll get that eventually." And then they had a summer sale, and it was $15. I was like, "Holy shit!" I think I got Dunbine, Zabungle, and Ideon all at the same time, and I spent like $45, which was just insane. But like I was saying, they just had 2 sales in the last 2 weeks. Like they're constantly.
And there's another one coming up soon.
For what?
And this other one's the 95% off their summer sale to kind of compete with Bright Stuff, which holds their inventory.
Yeah, which also I heard from some insiders that that pisses Right Stuff off because they hold their inventory. Oh. So when Sentai has a sale and it's $15, that money technically goes to Right Stuff. Oh, and Right Stuff has to sell their stock that they put on their shelves for $15. It's just wild. And they have some big gets too. They have like Haikyuu.
Oh yeah.
And then they put Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, mine's in the. I'll bump this up here. Yeah. Okay. Not that box, but that box right there. That's where mine is.
You still haven't unpacked it?
It's not. Well, I don't want to unpack it. I have to dust it.
So, are you ever going to watch that show?
Oh, I've already watched it.
Are you going to watch it on Blu-ray,
though? Eventually.
Did you know that that's
going to throw me off option? Is the what?
That's the cheapest option to get that show, period. Even if you were in Japan.
Oh, even importing. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The reason why it's so expensive is because of the contract. The Japanese company made them make it that price.
I had a feeling it was. Are you excited for season 2 of the reboot?
I actually am. They're doing a decent job. They're doing an actually pretty good job about that. I mean, obviously they're condensing a lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. But I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Isn't season 2 supposed to be like a movie compilation?
No.
Or did they make movies and turn it into episodes? Or is it episodes?
I've seen season 1 because I have the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray for season 2 comes out next month.
August, maybe.
August or something? Yeah, so it's coming out soon.
Sometime.
It's on my pre-order list. Hopefully it doesn't get pushed back. The other thing I had pre-ordered is Requiem and G movie 2. Have you seen the first one?
I have not, but I have not heard anything good about that.
Okay, so listen. The Gundam Requiem and G series is not very good. There's a lot of I honestly like the mech designs. I think the G Self is a really cool looking Gundam.
Okay.
It's done by the same mecha designer from your Eureka 7. So it's like the same character, same mecha designer as that show. My problem with Requiem and G is that you could tell the story needed more than what we got, because it was like people are switching sides. What's going on, Akil? How are you, buddy? But the thing that the movies are doing is they're doing 5 movies, and they're going to focus and make that story what it was supposed to be. And movie 1 was really good. It condensed 5 episodes into a movie and added some new animation. Movie 2, towards the end, from what I've read online, the story takes a different path.
Okay.
So I'm hoping I'm hoping it's solid. I'm liking it so far, and I have the
So
import.
it's not a regurgitation.
Not a complete regurgitation. Like
Okay.
movie 1 was just like a nice introduction to the characters and the world of what was going on, and I guess movie 2 is really where they take it. But that was supposed to come out in March, and then COVID happened. Well, no, first it got pushed back from production issues, and then it got pushed back again because of COVID. But now theaters are reopening in Japan. So,
okay. Well, speaking of stuff to come soon, I finally found Volume 2. So soon I will have Energized, the complete VHS from what was before Bandai Entertainment, which is Village animevillage.com. So I'll finally have this obscure Bandai Mech show complete.
how much was it to find the missing one?
Well, trick question. I was first going to get Volume 2 because it was the only one there. I tried to buy it for $96. Turns out they didn't have it, so I got my $96 back. This time I was able to buy it for $15. Still sealed.
Guys, right? Guys?
Sure.
It never got a DVD release.
Correct. It's still stuck in VHS land.
Now I want to get this. I like the fucking mech designs a lot.
Oh yeah. Last time, I probably shouldn't say this, but the last time I torrented it, it still had seeds. However, the rip is very, very dark. Now, Flip, you talk about transfers and stuff before, like the Blu-ray quality. What's the worst subtitle that you've seen from a legit anime licensor?
Worst? Ooh.
Yeah.
Probably Sentai again. There's been a couple times I've been watching their stuff and I'm like, the fuck?
Well, I got this one Flatiron release of Saint Seiya. It has a few more episodes than the ADV release. However, the subtitles, oh my god, it is a train wreck. You know how if you program, you put it to italicize something, you put like the block in, press enter, then it's italicized?
Yeah.
Well, for this one, they put it in. You still see the headers there. And the pacing for the subtitles are freakishly not normal. Like something will happen like if an explosion happened, the subtitle of the explosion will be right here, then it'll go away. And you see that happen. Some subtitle lines will delay. Like if I'm talking right now, then the subtitle starts showing up for what I said, lingers on. It's total train wreck.
There's a couple episodes of Legend of Galactic Heroes where, because a lot of it is just dialogue, and there's a couple of episodes where they'll be talking, and before, like, literally the subtitles are on there for a fucking second, and you don't have enough time to even read the first word, and you're like,
that's kind of why I'm afraid to watch the Blu-ray set, because I've also heard they don't subtitle what planet they are at that moment either.
There's like a lot of problems with the Blu-ray, which again, Sentai, you guys are charging $800 for a fucking box set. You should put, like, honestly, dude, I don't need the fancy box. I don't need the stupid coins. I don't need the lithographs of the ships. If it was just a DVD box set and they were like literally, if it was just this, look, if it was just this and they said, hey, we can't help but charge this much, but the quality is good, I would pay that same amount. Okay. I don't need the extra shit. It's just one, the box isn't even like well constructed. It's one of my favorite animes of all time. It's top 3.
Oh yeah.
It's a great show. It's one of the only, like I said, it's one of the only animes I would give like maybe a 10 to like 5 shows. And that's the first one I've ever said that's a 10. And it's so, here's the thing too, is that show took like what, 15 years to complete. It switched studios.
It was all OVAs.
Yeah, it switched directors, but it all has a cohesive feel, which is very, remarkable that they were able to accomplish that.
Oh yeah. And
it's just such a good show.
Only nitpick is the third movie, but that's just the third movie.
But it's 150 episodes? 152?
I think it's like 2000, either 2000 or 1800 minutes of everything.
It's a long time. And a lot of it is you have to pay attention. Like, it's one of those shows that you can't take a break from and be like,
yeah,
what happened? It's one of those shows that you have to be dedicated. You have to be like, all right, the next 2 months of my life is going to be Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
This is literally a space opera. You are watching
massive.
an opera.
A war opera. But I think my only complaint, and this happens with, I guess, all sci-fi that has space battles, is like they only treat space as a 2D plane.
Yeah,
you know
like
I mean?
I've had this conversation before.
You could be coming at different angles, but like literally in Legend of Galactic Heroes, all the battles are like this. It's fucking just.
You have the same. You have the same argument with Star Trek as well. You have the space battles, but it's treated like ships and pirates instead of three-dimensional planes. Then again, it takes for that to be executed really well. People have to write in that style.
Which honestly, like Legend of Galactic Heroes has that style. They could have written that in easily. Yeah. It's like such a well written show. But that's probably my.
How do you feel about the rich people wearing powdered wigs like you see in the 1970s?
I love
like in the 1770s.
Also, like there's all these futuristic things, and then like the grunt soldiers have axes. Like that's the other.
Oh man, that was a good episode.
That's like another.
Too bad that guy dies in 2 episodes later, though. He was a good character. I like that character.
It's just so funny because it's like so futuristic, and then they have, like you said, powder wigs, axes.
Yep.
It's just like there's a couple things that you're like.
For those who would want to start this show, my 2 cents is to watch the first 2 movies and skip either the first 2 or 3 episodes. That way you have a better background on what happened prior before going into the show. Would you say that?
I would say, for me, I just watch them in disc order.
Okay.
I just watch them as the one thing I do like about the collector's edition is that book. It's like every episode. There's a summary for every episode. So I guess you could take a break and be like, all right, what happened in the last episode? Okay, cool. And then, but yeah, but getting that book back in is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So. Well, I wouldn't say it's that difficult, but at the same time, it makes you feel like you're about to break it.
Yeah.
Because how snug it is.
Yep.
For Sentai shipping the Black Triangle out, they are putting the plate and the coins in a small bag now.
That's good. Mine didn't come in on the side, but mine didn't damage anything either. Mine stayed snug.
Same here.
So let's go ahead and wrap it up. This was a fun episode, guys. Thanks for watching. This was some underrated mecha. We will talk behind the scenes and talk about what we're going to do next time. I think this is going to be like a bi-weekly show. So every 2 weeks.
Cool.
Just hop on and talk about mechs. So go follow Ogie on Twitter and YouTube.
Yeah.
Check out the Open Chest and Anime podcast, which you're like the only, like, you've been there like the longest, right?
I'm the co-creator. I'm the one who came up with the name for the podcast. Most of the work is done by AC. You'll obviously see that while watching, but I'm there a majority of the time. It depends on his work schedule, sadly. But that is life.
Yep. Well, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.